Hey everyone, and today I'm doing a review video for the best dupes that I could find of Benefit The POREfessional Primer. And what I mean by dupes are the products that are actually cheaper than that primer, just because there is no point of me showing you something like a Smashbox primer that's okay, really good, but it's actually more expensive than the Benefit one. And for me, dupes are the products that work really similar to the original thing but are cheaper and you can save your money on them. So I found these two just work the best and are the most comparable to Benefit POREfessional. So if you want to see my dupes, then keep on watching. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people know how Benefit POREfessional Primer looks like already, but it is just this. It comes in this little squeezy tube with a lady on the packaging, and it says on it, Pro Balm to minimize the appearance of pores, oil-free, lightweight, translucent and silky. So basically this primer is mainly orientated around minimizing the appearance of your pores. So if you don't have pores, you really don't need it, or you really don't need any of them. You should probably just use a normal smoothing primer. You don't need something that's orientated around minimizing your pores, but if you have pores, then this is a good one to try. I don't really have pores anywhere else, but on my nose they're quite enlarged, and sometimes I wake up and I can see really enlarged pores, and if I would just put some makeup on them, they would be even more visible. Makeup would accentuate them and make them stand out, and you will be able to see the rough texture on my skin, the little bumps, the little heads on my nose. And when I put this kind of takes them away. It kind of covers them. There is no coverage visible in this, and you can wear this with or without makeup, and in both ways the pores will be minimized and you probably won't be able to see them, or even if you will be able to see them, it will be very slightly. The texture will be smooth, not rough like it was without this product on. So I really love that about it. But this is quite pricey. It's from Benefit, so it is more on the pricier side. So I have two dupes that are a lot cheaper. One is more on the high end and one is from the drugstore, but they are both cheaper. So the one that is more on the higher end is this one from Sephora. It comes in a squeezy tube just like this one, and it says on it, Prep and Perfect Pore and Fine Line Filler, Blurring Effect, 90% reduction in pore appearance. So this makeup base again is supposed to blur them pores, fill them out and make them virtually invisible. And they both work in a very similar way. When I swatched this in Sephora, I didn't know this would be a dupe of Benefit POREfessional before I went to Sephora. I had no idea, I've never heard of it. I've never even heard of this primer before I went to Sephora a few months back. But then I went to Sephora, swatched it, and I immediately knew this would be a dupe, just because the consistency of this is very similar of this. It looks the same, it feels the same, and even before I tested this on my face, I thought this would be a good dupe, and it is. It's absolutely amazing, and it is my all-time favorite dupe of Benefit POREfessional Primer by far. However, I have one more that is from the drugstore, and it is really inexpensive, and it also works really well for what it is, and it is this. You can't really read that, I'm really sorry, but it is from Too True, and it's called Pro Prime Perfect 6-in-1 formula. Smooths and evens out skin tone, clarifies and brightens, hydrates, mattifies, lightweight, protects. And if you look deeply into this packaging, you can kind of see a little bit that they were trying to duplicate the POREfessional, even by the colors on the bottle. Not everyone looks at the products in terms of their color scheme, but for the potential customers who do, they can kind of associate this primer with Benefit The POREfessional one, just because the colors are so similar. They both have that bluey green color that goes into creamy white, as you can maybe see or maybe not. And again, this has a very similar consistency. So all of them three have a very similar consistency. All of them three blur pores. But now let me swatch them really quickly. They all have very similar applicators, so they all come in them squeezy tubes that you basically undo. Very similar applicators, and let me just put some on. So firstly, I'm going to put the POREfessional one on this side of my hand, so you can see. There you go. I'll do a close-up in a minute because you probably won't be able to tell. Now in the middle I'm going to put my Sephora one. So Sephora one goes in the middle. And then on this side of my hand I'm going to put the Too True one. A lot of product got disposed. One thing I would say about this Too True one, you don't have as much precision in how much product you need because the hole on this dispenser is a lot bigger than on the Porefessional one or the Sephora one. So a lot of product got disposed onto my hand, but that's just the way it is. I will show you the close-up now. Okay, so that's the swatches: Benefit, Sephora, Too True. So as you can see, Sephora and Benefit looks really similar. Too True is a little bit paler, but that doesn't really matter because the color is translucent, it doesn't transfer. The consistency wise though, Benefit is a little bit more watery than Sephora or Too True. When you blend them, Benefit one feels very smooth and very silicone-y. It feels almost like gelatin. I don't want to put you off with my description, but it does feel like jelly or like gelatin. It's very silicone-y. Then the Sephora one also feels extremely silicone-y. It's a little bit harder to blend just because it's a little bit stiffer. It's not as watery as Benefit POREfessional, yet it gives you even more of them silicone properties. You can really feel that silicone part to it. That really blurs pores, but the feel of it is extremely silicone-y. It is nice. I really like the feel of both of them. They feel very, very similar. And then when you blend Too True, it also has that silicone feel, but not as intense. It feels more like a moisturizer with a little bit of silicone added, as opposed to just pure silicone on its own. But again, it does have that smoothing effect on the skin. Like, I wish you guys could feel them with me because they all feel so incredibly smooth, and my hand at the moment feels so smooth, and makeup applies so much nicer when you put them on. This doesn't have as much of that smoothing effect. It's still smoothing and still silicone-y, but it's not as silicone based as these two, as I said. And this probably doesn't give you as much of a blurring effect as these two. So I would say if you don't have severe pores, you just have a little bit of pores, this would probably get rid of them and hide them. But if you have severe pores all around your face and they are very visible, then this probably wouldn't just completely get rid of them. It would minimize them, but you would still be able to see them and maybe feel them. I never use this when I wake up with major pores on my face. I only use this when I have small pores on my face, just because it doesn't work as effectively as these two. It still works effectively, but not as effectively, whereas these two I honestly use in conjunction with each other. I either use my Benefit one or my Sephora one. I don't really mind which one I use which day, just because they give me such similar results that honestly, even when I wake up with really enlarged pores, I will still go for this one because it works the same as this one. And just as a side note, none of these clog my pores. Sometimes you have these products like moisturizers or even primers that you put on and they may get rid of your pores for a while, but in fact they clog them, and in the long run they make them even worse and more visible. None of these clog my pores. I wouldn't use something like this if in the long run I would get even worse pores from them. So no, they don't clog, they just kind of fill them out for the time being to reduce the appearance of them. So now onto the prices of these products. So the Benefit one here in the UK costs £24.50, and in the US on Sephora's and Ulta's website it retails for $31, and for European prices it really depends on the country. Like, even Sephora's prices in different European countries are different, but I know the one in France, this retails for 34.50 euros, and this is 22ml, and the prices are for 22ml. You can also get a smaller and a bigger sizes of this nowadays, so you can actually get a bigger or a smaller size of this. Perhaps it's good to pick up a travel size if you're unsure about this, but you still want to check it out. And the Sephora one, unfortunately I don't have a British price for this. Sephora isn't available in the UK, which is so frustrating, but perhaps you can always order online. I think it's such a shame that Sephora isn't available in the UK, considering it's my favorite makeup store of all time. But in the US, this retails for $23, and in Europe it's around 14 euros, depending on the country. I think in France it's even a little bit less than that, but in some other countries such as Germany it's a little bit more. So it is around 14 euros, and also this has a bit more product in, because this is 25 ml as opposed to 22 ml. And then this True one, I was only able to find the British price. You can find this in Superdrug or online for only £5, a complete bargain. It's a little bit smaller in quantity because it's only 20 ml, but the difference is so slight compared to the difference in the prices that still I would highly recommend you to pick this one up and save almost £20 instead of picking up this. So yeah, you guys, that is the end for my dupes video. Hope you found this video useful and it helped you in any way. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, then please like this video and subscribe to me if you're not already. And I will see you in my next one. Bye!